Dear student, we are going to start about the cell organelles. Okay, first we will learn about the selectively permeable membrane. In the cell organelle, there are three features in the almost every cell, that is the plasma membrane, okay, nucleus and cytoplasm. So one by one we will learn all. Plasma membrane, or it is called cell membrane. This is the outermost covering of the cell that separates the contents of the cell from its environment. So outer covering of the cell, that is called the cell membrane, okay, or it is called the plasma membrane, which separate the cell from the environment. Selectively permeable membrane. Why it is called selectively permeable membrane? Because it allows some molecules to come inside or go outside. So it is called the selectively permeable membrane. The plasma membrane allows or permit the entry and exit of some materials in and out of cell. Therefore, a cell membrane is called the selectively permeable membrane. It allows few compound only. Oxygen, carbon dioxide, they can go inside or they can come outside, okay, or water molecule or carbon dioxide molecule, okay. Some substance like carbon dioxide, oxygen can move across the cell membrane by process called the diffusion, that is higher concentration to the lower concentration. Dear student, we know about the diffusion. Diffusion means if the liquid is going from higher concentration to the lower concentration, that is called diffusion. Or we can say that in the gaseous compound, if the molecules are moving higher pressure to the lower pressure, then that is called the diffusion, okay. Carbon dioxide accumulate with the high concentration in the cell, so it is start move from high concentration to the lower concentration outside of the cell by the diffusion, okay. So whatever carbon dioxide is produced by the respiration process or by some other process, okay, so that carbon dioxide concentration is increased inside of the cell. As compared to outside, the concentration of carbon dioxide is less. In environment, the carbon dioxide concentration is less. So always carbon dioxide is moving from the higher concentration to the lower concentration. So carbon dioxide is moving from inside of the cell to the outside of the cell, that is called the diffusion. Oxygen enters into cell by diffusion because outside concentration is more. Same case in that what happen, oxygen has more concentration outside than the inside of the cell. So outside the concentration of oxygen is more, so it enter from higher concentration to the lower concentration inside of the cell, that is because of also diffusion. Dear student, we are going to learn about the osmosis. Osmosis is mainly depend upon the concentration of water, okay. At home you have one system that is called RO system. RO system means what? Reverse osmosis, okay. What is the difference between diffusion and osmosis? Diffusion, in that we can talk about anything like oxygen, carbon dioxide, water molecule, but in osmosis we will generally talk about water concentration, okay. If the water is moving higher concentration to lower concentration, then it is called the osmosis. So by reverse osmosis we can purify the water. Osmosis. The movement of water molecule through such a selectively permeable membrane is called the osmosis, okay. Only the entry or exit of water molecule from higher concentration to lower concentration, that is called the osmosis. Osmosis is the passage of water from a region of high concentration through a selectively permeable membrane to a region of low concentration till equilibrium is reached, okay. So here what happened, that semi-permeable membrane we know, okay, it is nothing but it is a plasma membrane or cell membrane which allow only water to go inside when the outside concentration is more and inside of the cell the concentration is less, or inside of the cell concentration of water is more and it allow water to go outside because outside the concentration of water is less, okay. So this is called the osmosis. Till equilibrium is established. Equilibrium is established means what? Equilibrium, a state at which the concentration of water molecule inside and outside is same, then we can say that equilibrium is established. Hypotonic solution. This tonic word indicate what? It related with the pressure, concentration. If the medium surrounding the cell has higher water concentration than the cell, meaning that the outside solution is very dilute, the cell will gain the water by osmosis. Solution is known as hypotonic solution. The cell likely to swell up. Suppose we take the dry grape, okay, and we put it into the water. So what happens in the dry grape? The water concentration is less, and when we put into the water, outside the concentration of water is more. So water is entered from the higher concentration to the lower concentration. So the grape will what? Swell up. Okay, so when the water molecule enter into the cell by the semi-permeable membrane from higher concentration to the inside of the cell lower concentration, then it is called the hypotonic solution. An example is grape. We can take so many fruits which are dry. Isotonic solution. If the medium has the exactly same water concentration as the cell, there will be no net movement of water across the cell membrane. Such a solution is known as isotonic solution. So in the isotonic solution, suppose we have fresh grape and that we put inside of the water. Okay, so what happened? Inside of the water, the grape has inside of the grape also water concentration is same, and outside of the grape also water concentration is same, and because of that reason neither water is going inside of the grape or the water is coming outside of the grape. This type of solution is called the isotonic solution, and size of the grape is remain as it is. Amount of water gaining and losing going out is same, the cell will stay the same size, and because of that reason it will remain in the same size. That is called the isotonic solution. Hello student, we are going to learn about the hypertonic solution. Hypertonic solution in that the concentration of water is going from cell to the outside of the solution. That is called hypertonic solution. Simple example in that, when we put fresh grape into the salty solution, in that inside of the grape water concentration is more, outside the water concentration is less, so water is going inside of the cell to the outside of the cell, higher concentration of water to the lower concentration of the water. That is called the hypertonic solution. Hypertonic solution, if the medium has lower concentration of water than the cell, meaning that the cell will lose water by osmosis, such a solution is known as the hypertonic solution. Okay, water crosses the cell membrane in both the direction, but this time the more water leaves the cell than enters it, and therefore the cell will shrink, and because of that reason the cell will shrink. Okay, so first case in that hypertonic solution, in that it will shrink. Isotonic solution, in that cell will remain as it is, and hypotonic solution, in that it swell up. Okay, unicellular freshwater organism and most plant cell tend to gain water through the osmosis. Okay, so osmosis, by the osmosis most of the unicellular freshwater organism and most of the plant, they gain the water by the osmosis, means water is moving from higher concentration to the lower concentration. Okay, absorption of water by plant roots, it also example of osmosis. Dear student, there is a difference between absorption and adsorption. Adsorption, it is a surface phenomena. Okay, when we spread the water and it somewhat sprayed, means somewhat it absorbs on the surface. Okay, it is a surface phenomena. But absorption is a bulk phenomena, like when we add the water on the sponge, then sponge absorbs total amount of water, that is a absorption. Okay, absorption of water by plant root is also example of osmosis. Okay, diffusion is important in exchange of gases and water in the life of cell. Cell also obtain nutrition from its environment. Dear student, difference between osmosis and diffusion. Osmosis, in that particular we will discuss about water is going higher concentration to the lower concentration, that is called osmosis. If the water is going lower concentration to higher concentration, that is called reverse osmosis. At home what we are using, the RO system, that is the reverse osmosis. So by the diffusion, cell also obtain the nutrition from that. Okay, like example is amoeba, in that it capture the food, and by diffusion it is going inside of the body. The plasma membrane is flexible and is made up of organic molecule called the lipids and protein. Plasma membrane is flexible, okay, and it is made up of organic molecule called lipid. Lipid, it is called the fat, okay, and protein, that is a protein, we know that is made up of carbon, hydrogen and nitrogen, okay, that is a protein, okay. Organic molecule. Organic molecule has two definitions. First definition is that the compound which are obtained from the organs of plant and animal, that is called the organic molecule, okay. And second definition of organic molecule is very standard. The compound which are made up of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen, they are called the organic molecule, okay. We can observe the structure of plasma membrane only through an electron microscope, okay. So by electron microscope only we can know the structure of semi-permeable membrane or plasma membrane, which are made up of lipid and protein. The flexibility of the cell membrane also enable the cell to engulf into food and other nutrition from its external environment. Such a process are known as endocytosis. Dear student, understand about endocytosis. When any organism capture the food, then that food is enter into the plasma membrane to the different part of the cell. That is because of what? The flexibility of cell membrane as well as the diffusion, and this process is called the endocytosis. Amoeba acquires the food through such a process. So amoeba get the food by the endocytosis process, in which what happen? Cell membrane engulf the food and other material from external environment and give the nutrition to the amoeba, okay. So this is all about for today's topic. Thank you so much.